Uh, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Black Butterfly Podcast. You are now in the room. I am Maru from
I am so sorry, guys. Hi, welcome to Black Butterfly. This is Candace.
and we wanted to give a quick recognition today. Just a nice little show on what does Father's Day mean to um, just people in general. Obviously, Black men, period. So shout out to all the. So before we even start, let me just say this: shout out to all the fathers out there. And when I mean fathers, I mean uh, mentors, coaches, right? That play that role, right? That not even play that role, that move in that way, in that role every day. Uncles, cousins, brothers, just friends, right? Male figures who just move in that space all the time. Grandfathers, obviously, I don't want to forget them, who just walk with infinite wisdom, who also, when you talk about today, you also talk about sacrifice with the men, and so we wanted to just have a quick little because we've been having scheduling issues, right? And so we wanted to get some on the books and talk about this because we always, uh, in a sense, glorify and turn up for Mother's Day, right? But we also need to turn up for Father's Day, and so we wanted just to have a quick little conversation today. And so again, shout out to I hope all the men who are enjoying their day, who are enjoying today, are kicking their feet up and relaxing. And it's also an opportunity for those who are not involved in their kids' lives. There's still time. There's still time. So I like to start off with that. But go ahead, Candace.
Well, welcome everyone. I want to give a special shout out to all of the fathers and say happy Father's Day to you all. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves. Hopefully the wives and the partners got on the grill today and the fathers didn't have to grill because I know that on Mother's Day, the fathers typically grill or they're taking the ladies out to eat. So I hope that your significant others and your children get something very special to you. And just a little bit ago, me and Amaru were having a conversation about Father's Day. And I think his outlook on Father's Day may be a little bit different from my outlook on Father's Day. So I would just ask him if he's comfortable with sharing the way that he views Father's Day, just to kind of share that with us.
Sure. So uh, just me personally, I don't like celebrating these days in a sense because when you do it every day, it's rewarding every day, right? So when you come home from work, you have a tough day at work, when you walk into the house, the way your kids greet you, right? So that's the rewarding in yourself. So there's many days I come home and I'm a little frustrated, fluttered, but then when I walk in the door, my kids jumping on me like I'm a bouncing house, right? And so that's the reward in itself, right? Seeing the reward of seeing your kids graduate and being at their games. And the word that always comes to mind when I think about just being a father in general is sacrifice, right? And so, yes, mother sacrifices, make sacrifices too, but it's also the father that does a lot of those sacrifices. And so, in that sense, that is why I've never been a proponent of just getting together on one day and celebrating like a Father's Day or the Mother's Day. But also from a image perspective, I cringe a little bit too because when they show Father's Day, and this is just my point of view, they literally show it as the single father, right? And or when they do Mother's Day, they always show the single mother, and it's like rare from what I've seen. They celebrate the Father's Day, and it's like the entire dynamic of the family: mother, father, kids, right? And so I don't like that depiction. And so, just for my own personal preference, I don't like celebrating today, but I recognize the importance of it because you know we do need to recognize and acknowledge those men who, are putting their bootstraps every day, going to work every day, being at those PTA meetings, being at, at those football games, footing the bill for a lot of these different things. And so, yes, I understand the importance of that. Look at hands in the way.
So I just had her just to kind of peek in because we actually we have Father's Day at my sister and her husband's house to celebrate my dad. So I wanted her to kind of come in and wave. My mom is around here somewhere, and my sister's husband I think just went back into the den, and then my dad is in the living room. And so I'll let Amaru finish the reason that his.
Oh, I'm done. That was okay. It. That was it.
All right. Well, good. I believe I can't speak for anyone else, and no, I'm not a father, but I do know what it feels like to have a father and also have the whole family dynamic. So Father Day is just not one day. I believe that if it is, if your father is active in your life and he is in the home, that Father Day is every day, not just providing, but also supporting, like Amaru said, showing up to games and graduations, helping mom around the house and different things like that. And so my father has always been around since I came home from the hospital. So for me, having that support system is very much so different. And it's great to have your father that is living in home with you, but if it doesn't work out that way, it's okay for parents to still have healthy co-parenting relationships and also, celebrate Father's Day together. Sometimes family dynamics change and families just don't make it. And, the dad is not with the mother anymore. The mother's not with the dad, but it doesn't mean that he can't still be a great father. And so from that angle, I would say I think there's a lot of great dads out there, even if they're not married or in a relationship, they still know what it looks like or what it means to be a father. So
and I would like to speak quickly on stepfathers. And so, it's funny, like, we're in 2024, right? And so every family has their dysfunctional dynamics and stuff. And so it's just interesting how the more things change, the more things remains the same, if that makes sense, right? And so, when people talk about stepfathers, I don't know why it's this way, but they talk about them in a demeaning manner, right? And so I get the nuance behind that, but so from my experience, all I've seen, right, is stepfathers who've been present and who have been, and those are special men. I have cousins. When I was younger, my cousins, their father wasn't around, but their stepfather always been there since I was a kid. And so seeing that, to now seeing it in my own household with my own stepfather, my father wasn't around, different circumstance, but he wasn't around. Seeing how he conducted our household and did things with us, I learned a lot. And also seeing my brother's father, shout out to him, he rest in peace. But when he would come around to come get my brother, he would always have me with him. He would always provide for me and my brother, right? And so, talking about those instances, that's all I've seen was great men be present in the absence of another man's responsibility. And so I tell my stepfather, I call him Papa, I tell him all the time, I don't know how you did that, because I don't know if yes, I would, if I had to, yes, but that takes a different type of mindset, a different type of love, a different type of I would just keep saying mindset, to not only be present, but then after the relationship with the mom has severed, to still be in that child's life. And when I talk about graduation, that being the end result, but being there, being the inspiration to see that child walk up to the stages and being received with a certificate to graduate or to other pastures in life is phenomenal. And so, yes, I'm, all men, but especially those men who are stepping in the absence of another man's responsibilities. Like, that is powerful. And so I would like to, acknowledge those guys on today. As you see, that's my son. Hi, bud.
The soccer ball, the Nike soccer ball flat.
Oh, I know you told me in the past your son loves Nike. I hear him talking about the Nike soccer ball. Did you just get him one?
It's flat. They upstairs playing soccer with my daughter. So yeah. So and then also with it's cool because a lot of people with a lot of different areas in the country are celebrating Juneteenth. On yesterday and today too. And so you get in the combination of both. So, I've been, I've been fooled, with all seeing. And then here they're celebrating, acknowledging it on actual Wednesday. And so I would obviously tell people to, if you don't have that day off, please take that day off. If they don't allow the church off, please take that day off because they're going to take the fourth off. So why not celebrate your people? So that's all I have. Go ahead.
Yeah, they made Juneteenth. It's a federal holiday, correct?
Yes, but not all employers celebrate it. I have to take off MLK at my job, which is I'm like, I don't celebrate MLK. Okay, let me take my. It's a private firm, so I understand. But I'm gonna make sure they know these days matter. Right? I'm gonna take off my holidays to celebrate my culture. So absolutely. So my question to you is, what does your father mean to you? Right? Because this being Father's Day, right? So we're talking about the days that it get tough, right? We have to have those tough conversations when you're bawling your eyes out or when, he's celebrating you. So those conversations, because let's just get to the meat of it. That's where, to me, that's what, when I think about days like this, I don't think about, oh, he's there, I'm graduating from college. Yeah, I'm talking about the time in between that time when you got to be building something. And so what does he mean to you as far as that building stays with yourself?
I would definitely say my father has always been a very spiritual person. He keeps us grounded, keeps us connected, very like supportive. He teaches us to be like persistent. And there is some times where I feel like, my world is shattered or it's falling apart. And I can call him like mom is always there. They say nature versus nurture. But some things that, some conversations you need to just have that with your dad. And so he is there to like wipe my tears away and when I'm upset and when I'm frustrated. Just even having conversations, a lot of times you have certain conversations with your mom, but your father can definitely, he's a man, so he knows how men think, how they process and different things like that. And so if I need to go to him and have that type of conversation with him, he's always open about it. He's always going to be honest and he's always going to be transparent. So I think that helps me to have balance, just to know that I can call him for that type of support. And so that's what that means. And it doesn't matter. I tell people all the time, like, you have grown adult children, but we're still our parents' children. We're, as long as we can have them here, we're always going to need them. And I think that that's good that we can still have those type of conversations with not just my dad, but also with my mom. And it's a blessing, really. You only get one set of parents. And I know oftentimes people get mad at their parents for whatever reason, but I think it's important to still have that type of relationship where you can communicate with your parents and you can call them when need be. So that is what my dad means to me.
And so I'd like to question to our viewers who are watching YouTube and on Facebook, what does your father or father figure, or it could be husband, right, means to your household? And so, I like to acknowledge that a lot of times. Again, I always go back to the word sacrifice because there's been many sacrifices that we've all made, right? But I think for me, it was different when I had kids. And when I started, when I had Caleb, when Caleb was born, like I had him when we had Caleb, right? And so when Caleb was born, it was certain things I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I should be able to do this, but being able to maneuver to deny job opportunities, obviously hanging out with your friends and not doing a lot of those things that you used to do in your 20s and third, you know what I'm saying? When you were young and spry, you can't do in your 30s. And so being able to just, and again, that's the sacrifice, withdraw from self and be like, you know what, I don't think that's the best decision right now. And for me, it wasn't hard. Some people it's difficult to do that, but it wasn't hard because again, I saw the sacrifices that, and so this is just another conversation. I was talking with who I was talking with. I was talking to one of the guys earlier today, and I was just like, just imagine, think about all the fathers that we saw in our neighborhood, right? And I'm just on our side of Edna, right? So Mr. McGee, that's the first thing that came to mind. Charles' father, shout out to Mr. Doty, rest in peace, but he was, another figure. Kevin's father, who was president, shout out to him. Alex's father, Mr. Jones, shout out to him. I learned a whole lot of stuff from him. So really, a lot of love to that brother. And JJ's father, right? And so these are the men that I saw all the time. And so think about all the other people that lived on our side of Edna that didn't have men in their households, right? And so I'm looking at a lot of our pictures and how they graduation pictures. The ones that didn't have men in their lives, it did a damn good job because they weren't shown it particularly in their household, but they pulled from different parts of the neighborhood and other men. And so it's acknowledging that too. On the other side, the only two I can remember, and then no offense if I don't leave anybody out, Mr. Bone, shout out to him, rest in peace, and Mr. DeLosa, he's still living. And so seeing those two men, and then also, I forget, Officer Walton, Eric's father. And so I was just, we were just having this conversation. And I was just telling myself, for us to not have the abundance of men, we still have men, but you would think it would be more than what we had in that little area as examples of men to be shown and to see a bunch of these guys who didn't have fathers around to be outstanding fathers. It shows to the perseverance and the character and the want to in them. And so that's why I always give them love, right? And so it's just awesome to see them with their kids. I'm like, wow, and it shows they've been doing the nasty for a long time, right? Because I'm like, I'm just having kids. I'm like, dang, your kids are adult. They like 25. I'm like, you would really get it, so. But no, all jokes aside, that's cool to see. And so I'm always gonna give the black man his love as far as being present, in their kids' lives.
So I do have a question for you. What do you think, as far as a good father, what qualities do you think a good father should possess?
I would say a backbone. I would say being present, loving, because you can't be hard all the time. You can't. Your kids they will really hate you, right? I would say someone like what I try to do so I talk from about my own experience. I try to communicate effectively and reason with them. A lot of times, and I think I learned this from your sister, which is powerful. She said, when you whoop, it's like slavery. I never thought about it that way. And so it's not doing what the previous generation did, but learning from that, right? And so I'm trying, and they will test the gangster. Trust me, they will test the gangster. Especially my kids, they be doing all. I'm like, what are you doing? But just trying to be gentle, right? Being able to communicate with them in all areas, so they can be open with you. You have some kids that's withdrawn; they don't like to open up, and so I always wanted to parent like I would want my father to be, right? And so just being that type of transparent parent, being comfortable to share anything with them. So I try to mimic those qualities.
Spiritual leadership.
I couldn't hear you.
Spiritual leadership.
What do you mean? Was that a question?
Yeah, I'm saying, like I said, the qualities that a great father would possess. And so oftentimes we always talk about the man should be head of the household, right?
Absolutely.
Leading, making sure that you are the example, showing your kids what, being the example that you want to see, or behaving in a manner that you want your kids to behave in, because oftentimes kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. So leading in the proper manner. And then also I had another you said gentle. So are you into gentle parenting? Because some people believe in in harsh disciplinary.
It's a balance, because my stepfather was a military man, so he didn't play no games, right? So it was black and white. but I recognize with, especially my daughters, I have to be gentle because of who their mom is, right? And I have to parent that way because I want them to see that, a man can obviously uh, be a great husband, and how I treat their mom is how they're going to be raised to be men, right? So in that aspect, yes, I have to be gentle with them. Now, if I had all boys, that's different, right? But I'm a girl dad, you know what I'm saying? So it's having a balance. And sometimes I'll be thinking to myself, I'm such a damn softy, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you gotta have a balance. And so yes, gentle parenting is one of my newly acquired traits. So I would say that.
Okay, and then so in the age of technology, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter now better known as X better known as Twitter, what else? YouTube, all of these different social media outlets, we have the opportunity to see fathers shine. If you could choose anybody that you've seen so far in the last couple of years that you would deem to be a great father, some people that we may have went to school with or even college with, who would you say, and you can kind of see it on their social media page, because in social media land you can literally be whoever you want to be, but I would task you if you can go back and think about some people that we've seen, and we've seen kids grow up through social media. Who would you say was a great father?
That's a tough question, because that's the thing. Like, I know a bunch of great fathers. Like, I know, me and my wife, we did this a couple years ago, and so we was talking about, like, of all the men that we talked about how many of them married, but then we also talked about how many of them are married. I mean, are great fathers, and all of them, because it's a different levels to it, right? Some are more present than others. Some, are more financially stable than others to provide. I give you an example. My cousin, for instance, he drives back and forth from from city to city during the week just to provide the financial stability for his household, right? So he's gone most of the week, right? But he's always there on the weekends with them sacrificing, And so, yes, another one. Yes, Bo, my cousin Vaughn, he's another one. That I know a great amount of my brother-in-law. He's another. Both of them. Uh, uh, Jacquees, like I could name them all. Paul, Lil Aaron, Jamar, Kevin, Charles, Mick, Eddie Lowe. Like, I've seen so many of these guys just be present, be there, doing productive things with their kids. And that's the thing. Social media is what they want you to see. I'm talking about behind the scenes, helping them with their homework, things like that, the tangible stuff, and so, I mean, I couldn't just name one. That would do our people a disservice, and the people that I know a disservice.
Thank you. I was going to add too. Well, you guys know I'm always going to choose my father for the best dad.
Yes.
But there are some other people as well. I was
right.
going to say, not just the people who are posting pictures of their kids on social media, but literally that are actually active and going to games, doing homework, studying with their kids, helping their kids figure out if they're going to college, they're going to a trade school. Even entrepreneurship is oftentimes kids don't want to go to college after high school. They want to go into business for themselves, really showing them what it is to be a business person. And so, yes, the people who are actually doing the work. All right. And so I see Vaughn said Bo Williams, and actually he is my brother-in-law. So yes. Who else I see through social media land that's always active with their kids? Anthony Walton is really good with his son.
With his son, yeah. Shout out to
doing a good job. And I know it's about the fathers, but there are so many women on my page that are doing such great jobs with their children. But ladies, it's not about you today, but that's okay. I'll shout you out later.
But it's so many of them. And I just couldn't name one. Brian and his father, right? Your father. It's just so many of them. And then the ones I always pay attention to the ones who don't have kids or who they have, but also affects other kids, right? Like coaching, like Alex, and you know what I'm saying? And what's Reg and OT, and so it's a plethora of them And so I just couldn't. That would not be fair to our people just to name one. But it's a bunch of them. And so that's what I'm saying. I love seeing all of it, because if you could just catch one and teach one and reach one, so that's always cool.
We had a couple comments when the question I asked you, what are the qualities that you believe a good father possesses? And we had one from Marcus. I believe Marcus said keeping you mentally and physically focused. And then we had one from Lenny. Lenny says sense of safety, direction, and stability. And I agree with both of those. Are there any other ones that you could add to the list as far as what a good father would possess?
Protection and providing.
Oh, is it 3 P's?
Yep, and professor. I would say, well, yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that would go hand in hand with anything else, right? So,
my sister is so big on it. She came back. She like spiritual leadership. Like that's definitely key.
Everybody ain't trying to go to church on Sunday. Like they don't.
You know what? And that's the thing. I think a lot of times people believe that it's great to go to church because you're in the, you're in with the body. But however, if you choose not to go to church, you can still, be guided by the Spirit. You can still practice and things like that. Actually going to sit in a building and worshiping. A lot of people do desire to do that, but some people don't. But just because you don't doesn't mean that you don't believe. If that makes sense.
Because right there, consistency. And see that I love that because being there, that's the one thing I learned from my stepfather. Like we didn't have a lot of stuff, right? But he was very consistent. I knew when I got home from school, because I went to school, he was going to ask, "Hey, what did you learn today?" This man don't even have a 10th grade education level, right? But he was sparring up. I need to ask you what you learned today. If I couldn't tell him what I learned, oh no, I'm be in trouble, right? He was going to be there. He had a meal prepared for us, and then we had to do our homework. That was the daily routine. We had to get that garbage out, and then this needs to be cleaned before 9 o'clock at night before we went to bed. So yes, I absolutely agree with that.
So Candy is on here, and I'm obviously going to say good things about my dad because he's my dad. But Candy's on here, and she's been around him since she was a kid. She could probably tell you some things about him as well.
If she liked to share.
Yeah, see if Candy would like to share.
But no, like and when you have and it's also one of the things that the A's accountability. I think that's really huge. We have to hold people accountable, and so it's gonna be have some tough conversations, right? It's gonna be some pressure put on in places, right? But and if it's done correctly, you're gonna have to actually make sure that, especially when you're teaching young men, women too, but the ladies too, but especially young men, you have to be accountable for your actions. Every action has a consequence behind it, and so it's that stability, and that goes hand in hand with consistency too. So. Oh,
she missed the beginning of it. We were just talking about the good qualities that a great father would possess. And then in addition to that, also chivalry. I think that's very important because when you have a father, it's also important for a father to give his daughter direction on what it's like for for a man to treat her well. Oftentimes women will end up dating these guys because they don't know what it's like to see someone treat them with like love, respect, and to value them. I was joking with my sister because she will literally, even she's married now, she will sit in the car, like my dad will go around and open the door for my mom and get her out. And my sister will sit in the car until he comes around and opens her door. And when I was in college, I always laughed because I was like, she really gonna sit here for 2 minutes till he come back. Even if he forgetting, he walk off and go wherever we're going. He'll come back and open the door and let her out. And she'll just sit there until he does it. I think that's hilarious. And she still does it to this day. But I think it's really important for young ladies to know that, men supposed to open, it's nice if they open the door for you when you're getting out the car and going to the restaurant and pulling your chair out for you to sit down, And that goes back to a lot of men now saying, I don't like women who give off masculine energy. I want them to be feminine. And so those are some of the qualities that she possesses. Like, okay, I'm going to just sit here in the car until you open my door. And some guys are like, I'm not opening her door. And some women don't get out the car. So I guess it just depends on who the person is.
What KJ is. That's what I was going to say. What KJ is. We're going to wait on. Let me call him to come up in here to come open that door. Because we're going to be looking at you. Caleb and I will be like, I'm going to sit in the car. Man, Please. Please.
Well, if her husband is not with us and it's just my dad, he's going to open the door.
I'm calling him with he been work. I don't know. He deaf, bro. You better come and open this door because I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's just terrible. No,
I ain't finna be doing all. You grown as hell. Like I ain't finna be getting out. I got one wife. He
still opens the door.
Like I get it. Until she get married, that's totally different. She married. You said you got your big grown self tail in the backseat. Man, you crazy. Where my gas money at? First of all, if you want to go there, you're like, where my gas money at? So,
as much as you've been around, I'm surprised you've never seen it. That's hilarious.
No, I ain't seen it.
Yes.
Don't let me see it now going forward.
You gonna open
it? Let me see it now.
I think they went on the porch. They just went on the porch.
Don't let me see it going forward. Don't make them. I know that's right. Right.
He said, Mr. Wilson is one of kind. He's gentle, supportive, protecting, loving, but don't make him mad. That is true. That is definitely true. Thanks, Candy.
Yeah, he better not be cussing. Talking about calling him Black Jesus. Better not be cussing. I'm just saying, make him mad.
No, he doesn't cuss for my dad. I mean, you know my dad. He's very, very firm.
Yeah, I'm
very assertive, very firm. Mm-hmm.
But we want to keep this short, sweet. We will have a guest coming on the 30th, and it's confirmed. Tadre wants to do a show, so I can't wait for that interview. And then we do have guests coming up. That was my mistake as far as the other two guests that we couldn't have because of conflict. So me being a father, those things didn't happen. But we're gonna get them back on the schedule into the show, and so. It's been a crazy couple months because of different events popping up, and so fatherhood, obviously. But yes, we will be back on the docket for other interviews, and so we want to get some on the books immediately, and just to have a recognition conversation about today. And so, with that being said, you have any closing comments?
I do. Yes, you said super sorry. Yes, thanks, guys. We missed you. We're back. We've been busy. Our schedules have been conflicting and different things like that. We did not just disappear. We look forward to seeing everybody soon. We have an upcoming podcast, as Amaru said, on June the 30th. We'll see you guys then. If you have any comments, anything that you'd like to share, please don't hesitate to send us a message or give us a shout out or inbox. And if you know any other guests that wants to come on or would like for us to highlight any Black businesses, let us know, and we will see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Father's Day and have a good, safe work week.
Yep. Bye. And enjoy Juneteenth. Yeah.